Last week, Monet had 1 million views. Eddie Kingston's got 1 million man tits every week. But let's see what the views are like this week for All Elite Wrestling, buddy. Welcome back to Fog Wrestling. What a show it was. Highest rated show I've ever gave it. Probably 3 out of 10. Take it away, Tony.
3 out of 10, buddy.
And it was all for the main event. It was all for Edge and Christian. The rest of it was forgettable. The rest of it was filled with jobbers. The rest of it was filled with Eddie Kingston hanging on to the ropes, reaching forward with his big beer belly and his man boobs bouncing off fucking Okada's face. That's not for me. Edge planting Spike on Christian's balls. That's for me, damn it. So yeah, I enjoyed the main event.
Yeah, anyway, forget about Eddie Kingston. We're not here to look at Eddie Kingston. We're not here to talk about Eddie Kingston. We're here to look at Mercedes at Monet and see what kind of numbers she's doing this week. Because last week, everyone was losing their mind, claiming that she's this mega star, she's this huge draw, she's worth $5 million a year, simply because the opening quarter of Dynamite in the first hour had just over, it was pretty much 1 million views bang on, which, I mean, I guess is a little bit more than what AEW Dynamite normally does, but we're talking like maybe 20, 30,000, because it always starts in the high 90s, so that wasn't too impressive. And then the actual video clip on YouTube of her debut accumulated 1 million views after 4 days. And we're going to look now after 2 days. Now, after 2 days, to be honest, the views don't really go up that much. It's the first 48 hours where if you're going to be viewed on YouTube, it's probably going to happen in 48 hours. If it's not happened by then, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's just like when a person goes missing. You're going to find them within the first 48 hours.
After that, doesn't look very good. But let's see if we found Mercedes Monet, because this week on Dynamite, as you can see, the CEO speaks. Mercedes Monet has some unfinished business, and it only got 218,000 views. Now, can we put to bed that she's this like huge star that is worth $5 million now? Last week, yeah, after 4 days, she broke the 1 million view mark, but that is simply because she's in WWE a pretty big name, and it's a big name going from WWE to AEW. Let's not forget, she was only the second women's match to main event WrestleMania, made history. So, I mean, we're talking like a WrestleMania main eventer level person here, leaving WWE to go to AEW. I would argue that anybody that has main evented a WrestleMania and goes to AEW would be generating at least a similar level, if not more, like hype that Mercedes Monet has over the past week and a bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I'm actually surprised that the number's that low. I mean, 216. I mean, you're actually getting beat by Okada here, and you're not far off people who. You're similar. I mean, the hype is dead already. We said it last week after the promo.
It was a shit promo. Maybe if she cut a better promo, the hype would have been a bit more buzzing. But after the promo, I was like, I don't really care anymore. Yeah. And that is sad. Before we actually look at the other ratings, though, this week, I believe, or before we look at the other views, this week the AEW Dynamite rating did 800,000. I think last week it did 803,000.
801.
801. So it's down 1,000, okay? It's pretty much identical. But the thing is, last week, Mercedes Monet wasn't actually advertised. She was just there was hype, there was speculation. But maybe, although to be honest, I think everybody that watches AEW is probably online. They probably know the news. But last week, she wasn't guaranteed to be there. This week, she was. And I'm not going to say it went down, because it went down by 1,000. It stayed the same.
When your number's low, though, going down by 1,000 matters, doesn't it?
But surely the fact that this time she was actually advertised and you 100% knew that she was going to be on the show, if she was this big star, then the rating would have been up. But there's Mercedes Monet in her debut week, and then the first week where she's actually been advertised for the show, and the Dynamite does 801,000 and 800,000 respectively. It's not good ratings. It's not ratings that are worth $5 million a year. It's just not.
No, and we knew this, though. We knew that they weren't going to bring... The money that they are getting paid, man, is never going to be shown in the income for Tony Khan. It's like, what is Edge on? Bet you Edge is actually probably nowhere near that amount of money. Maybe he is.
No, but speaking of Edge, Adam Copeland, his video here, I Quit match against Christian Cage, 904k. I mean, will that get to 1 million? Possibly. Plus, another thing you got to factor in, Mercedes Monet's clip was the first one uploaded.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is it's a lot more likely the first clip and the last clip are probably a lot more likely to get more views because they're uploaded in such a short period of time. So you've got the advantage if you're either the first clip or the last clip, and you're just looking at this 218k. It's not great. Okada Kingston for the Continental Championship got 301k. We hear about how Will Ospreay's this huge star. I mean, he comes out to talk about his match with Daniel Bryan. AEW Dynasty gets 128k.
You slag, Tony.
So much for him being this megastar. Swerve Strickland, who's been on AEW for, years now, hasn't really done anything, isn't a big name. He only got 15,000 views less than Mercedes Monet.
Yeah.
And he basically came out just to cut a promo, just like Mercedes did.
Look at Jericho's one, though. 38k. I mean, Jericho's done. He lost as well, and it was an absolute awful match. Like, what about Jericho, though? Is it not time for Jericho to call it a day?
Yeah, Toni Storm, a lot of people say great things about her. A lot of people are saying how she's awesome and how she's doing the best work of her career. Well, I don't necessarily disagree that she's doing the best work of her career. She's obviously not over because her video here's only getting 80,000 views, so...
Yeah, those numbers don't lie. I mean, you've also got... well, that's pretty much it. It was actually it wasn't a very heavy clip. Dynamite. I mean, you've only got, 7 clips in there?
Yeah, so, yeah.
That's just Dynamite, though. Long-ass matches. The opening match was about 25 minutes. Then, Edge Christian I Quit match. I've no real complaints about the length of that. If I'm going to, that is, if that wants to take up the whole 2 hours, it may as well. But, yeah, Okada, Kingston, Continental Championship, 301k. AEW's just got far too many belts. I have no idea what the belt order is. Like, see in AEW, how could someone honestly, see after the world title, because the world title's the world title, how could anyone differentiate between all the belts and say which one's the clear second best? How could you? No. You would simply have to base it off who's actually got it, rather than the prestige of the belt.
I mean, you look at the Rampage numbers, not great. Not great at all. Hell, the women's street fight on Rampage got more views than Jericho's match.
That's mental.
Mercedes Monet's had a video uploaded 3 hours ago, only got 6.2k views, so... Yeah, the numbers don't lie, and they spell not a draw for Mercedes Monet.
Yeah, and it's just a case of it's nowhere near worth the money, man, but... If Tony Khan keeps bringing in these people, right, like WWE rejects and people for Japan on these contracts, the question's got to be asked about how much money does this family actually have to burn, not just to use, to burn, because that's all it is.
Burn it down. What's he going to do? Pay Seth Rollins about 10 million next?
Let's take out production costs, right? Seeing wrestlers alone and commentators, how much do you honestly think in a year is AEW spend?
Just on the roster?
Aye, just on the roster.
Fuck. Billion?
Yeah,
Must be close.
I would say it's close to $1 billion.
I can't imagine Tony Khan paying anybody shit money. Maybe WWE, you'll get your guys on 150k. Not that it's peanuts, but you get your guys that are not on much. I just don't know. I don't know. Tony Khan seems like the kind of guy
that work house shows, man. AEW don't do that.
Yeah, so what? And even with Okada saying that he doesn't need to relocate, that tells me that he's not going to be working full time, or else you would need to relocate, and he's getting all that money. Makes no fucking sense. Anyway, guys, here we go. Mercedes Monet. 1 week, 1 show later, and the hype is pretty much done.
It is done. I don't give a shit. What, Fatty Nightingale running it with a steel chair? Oh, I am so enthralled in that. Dead on.
And that's probably another thing that has hurt her, to be honest, because she's coming in and, what is she doing? She's getting into a feud with Willow Nightingale.
Yeah.
That's...
I don't want to compare her to, The Rock or Austin, but it'd be one of those two going into TNA at the minute.
Aye.
It's they're...
As good as you are, you need a half-decent dance partner.
No, you do.
And there's not many decent dance partners for Mercedes Monet in AEW. So that's it, guys. There you go. Not a big draw, but hardly surprising. All those people marking it last week because she got 1 million views and she got over 1 million in the quarter one. Well, what did she get this week? Nothing.
Nothing. Nada.
Basic shit, just getting the same as pretty much every other thing here. So, yeah, is what it is, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Bean Fog Wrestling, thanks for watching, and peace.